So let's breathe in that affirmation. You are beautiful. Because it's so true. I'm looking at you. So, if you were here this past Sunday, we reflected upon our Judas experiences and how they can support us in a greater, more expansive way, a greater, more expansive experience of life. If you are familiar with Unity's 12 powers, Judas, actually each one is represented by a disciple, and Judas represents the power of life. And so here we are on Good Friday, where in traditional circles, there's a focus on Jesus' crucifixion. And so let's just review the story of what happened this week with Judas and where we are tonight in that story. So, as we recall, Judas is the disciple who betrayed Jesus, who turned him over to the chief priest for 30 pieces of silver. And the authorities came, and Judas revealed to them who Jesus was by giving Jesus a kiss. And they took him away to be prosecuted and convicted and later crucified. So the relationship between Judas and Jesus, according to the biblical stories, was they were very close. You know, Judas, along with the other disciples, gave up everything to follow Jesus. And Jesus entrusted Judas with the finances of the ministry. So he was greatly trusted. He was intelligent. He was level-headed. He was sophisticated. He was a visionary. He was known for his strength and his dedication. So no one thought that Judas would be the one to betray Jesus. But it was Judas. So, like we like to take every biblical story and every event, like Christmas and Easter, let's go deeper. Let's really look at how we can apply Good Friday to our lives. So, Judas was the one that betrayed Jesus. And so when we look at Bible stories in Unity, we like to look beyond that literal story and look at the characters. And so this is an opportunity, and we planted this seed on Sunday. Who has been a Judas in your life? And I know that there has been a Judas in your life. And last week, we were able to hear from the teenagers, because I think we can all look back on our teenage years, especially, and say, that was a Judas experience. So, who has been a Judas in your life? Who has seemingly betrayed you? Betrayal meaning, who has someone been in your life that you have entrusted and they betrayed that trust? Who has not seen you or heard you? Who has not reciprocated love? Who has really deeply hurt you? And when have you been a Judas to yourself? So, how have we handled our Judas experiences? So maybe it is something that has happened to us that has scarred us so deeply that we, after years, have not moved through it. Maybe we have allowed this Judas experience or experiences, because I can probably say there's been several in our lives. Have we allowed those experiences, or maybe one in particular, maybe it's a biggie, to truly dim our light? To be what had us make a decision that we can't trust anymore, we can't love anymore. It's dimmed our joy. Are we harboring resentment and pain because of this experience? Are we angry and just still so deeply hurt at the actions of another? And the opportunity that we have tonight is to start to look at what would be possible for us if we could let that go. what would be possible? Because I like to take a moment to review how Jesus responded to Judas. So Jesus never condemned Judas, ever. He said to go do what you need to do. He demonstrated non-resistance. Jesus knew he couldn't control it, so what he could control was how he responded. So again, metaphysically, what Judas means is life. The color red, if you're familiar with the chakra system, that root color, that groundedness that has us be present and declaring that we are here to receive and live life. So the great demonstration of Jesus' overcoming could have never happened without Judas's actions. Jesus would have never known the truth of what he was as a divine being if Judas had not done what he did. See, the crucifixion is the ultimate crossing out of all that separates us from knowing our divinity. And we must die to that which keeps us from fully expressing our life. We must die to those limiting thoughts and beliefs, folks, that we are carrying. Those feelings that keep us from fully expressing the life essence that we are. So that is truly the Good Friday message, and that is the message, the gift of Judas. Because without Judas, there would have been no full expression again of Jesus' divine nature. Without people, folks, in our life that have challenged us, without experiences in our life that have challenged us, how would we really, really know our strength, our courage, how we can move through fear and know the truth in spite of outer appearances? What would we be doing? What would we be knowing? Unless what we call in some teachings those contrast experiences that the Judas experiences give us. Would we truly know the depth and fullness of all that we are? Would we have a willingness and ability truly to change, grow, and transform? So the opportunity that we have here is to get to a place to release our condemnation of those who have hurt us and to ultimately appreciate them. When you reach a place of gratitude for a challenging experience, you know you've moved through it. So, the thing is, I know for myself personally that my ability to navigate hurtful experiences has been one of my greatest gifts to bring to ministry, because I'm able to support other people. And that doesn't just apply to a minister, does it? It applies to you and your relationships with other people. Someone comes to you, and because you have navigated a hurtful experience, you can be more compassionate, more open and available, and support them through navigating through it themselves. So tonight is our opportunity to let go and forgive the Judas experiences of our life. And so how this is going to look, did everyone receive, when you walked in the door, a little piece of paper and a pen, something to write with? If anyone does not have that, would you please raise your hand? Here's someone up here, Pam. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into meditation, and sweet Jim Goldstein is going to play the piano and just get us back in our heart with that beautiful music. And I'm going to guide you through a meditation, and then we're going to have an actual hand-washing ritual, and I'll explain that as we go along. So there's nothing that you need to worry about. We'll guide you right through, Edie and I will. And so for now, in this moment, if you would just prepare for meditation by just taking a deep breath, just place both feet on the floor and just gently close your eyes. So breathe deeply again and just feel yourself fully present in this moment. And in this very safe space, in the sanctuary. Just breathe and bring to mind a Judas experience that has occurred in your life, and just trust the first thing that bubbles up. And just allow yourself to see what happened in your mind's eye. And just notice what stirs in you. How does it feel to you? Do you feel resistance to what has happened? Are you still holding on to resistance, to anger, to fear, to grief? Just notice, take a moment just to notice your experience. And please do so without judgment. Just allow yourself to just be where you are and feel what you feel. It's okay. And have you heard yourself say, I have forgiven, but not forgotten? Honestly, that really means you have not forgotten or forgiven. And remember, don't forget to include yourself in this. If you have been a Judas to yourself, please notice your feelings about that. Notice what happened in your mind's eye. Just see it. Because sometimes we create the harshest Judas experiences by ourselves, to ourselves. And again, just notice how you're feeling right now. And are you willing to feel another way? Are you willing to see this situation in a different way? Just notice if there's an opening, if there's just a little peak of receptivity. Or maybe your heart's wide open. Maybe you're just so ready to let this go. If you are willing to see it another way, what would you need to let go of in order to feel free, grateful, non-resistant, inner peace, willingness to love again, a willingness to risk again, to really feel strong and capable and valuable? What would you need to let go of to feel those ways? Are you willing to let go and surrender to what has happened in order to create room for a greater expression of life that will replace the resistance and grief and anger that you have been feeling and holding on to possibly for years? What belief would you need to let go of in order to let this go? Maybe I can't trust. I did it wrong. It was my fault. I shouldn't have. Or I should have. I'm not safe. It's not safe to love, to put myself out there. I'm weak, unworthy, don't deserve. I can't. This illness or this circumstance has more powerful energy and power than I could ever have. I don't have what it takes to do this. Are you willing to shift this belief to what is really true? What is really true is that you are and have always been safe, loved, lovable, worthy, deserving, whole, valuable, capable, wise, and strong. So as we let go and shift our perspective of the experiences of our lives that have hurt and wounded us, that have somehow reinforced an idea that we are less than, not deserving or whole. We embrace a greater possibility of life. We allow more of the infinite life essence we are to flow and express more freely and fully, which brings us the experience of peace and joy and strength. The constriction of holding on to hurt and anger is eased, is opened as we let go. Life can flow. And in this process, we learn more deeply what we truly are. As we are able to forgive, as we are able to stand in the midst of conflict and hold our center more readily and fully, we rise strong. We know what we are, what we can be and do and express more deeply and fully. That is how the Judas experiences of our lives can support us in knowing more deeply our true nature, our divinity. This is our great demonstration that we honor and will celebrate on Easter morning. But for now, let's take some time tonight to participate in a releasing ritual. So I just invite you to write down on the paper that you have in your lap or next to you that you received when you walked in, what you are willing and committed to release tonight. So on that little sheet of paper, just take a moment and write down what you are willing and committed to release tonight. What limiting false belief are you releasing? What have you been holding onto for possibly years that you are ready to write down on that piece of paper and let go from this point forward? And so when you are ready, come up to the table where Edie and I will be standing, and we will demonstrate this for you so you'll know exactly what to do. So when you're ready, just come up to either Edie or me with open hands that are holding this is dissolving paper. And so as you come up and stand in front of the white basin, you just softly say aloud to either Edie or me what you are releasing, just the nature of it. And then after declaring your release to Edie or me, just say these words: I wash my hands of it. I wash my hands of it. I release frustration. Of it. So as you open your hands and say, I wash my hands of it, we will pour water over your hands and we will affirm the truth of what you really are.